Hello. So in the last session, we discussed about a problem regarding column lacings, and in today's session, we'll be discussing about column basis. Either of the two problems, that is either of column lacing or for column basis, is been asked in your GTU examination, and more frequently, the sum pertaining to column basis are being asked more. It is relatively easy as compared to other questions or other problems. So do look it properly and solve it. And today we'll be seeing in detail what are column bases and how to design it. So starting with today's question, the problem here is design a slab based foundation for a column that is of ISHB 350 to carry a factored axial load of 1200 kN. The load is factored, so there is no need to multiply it by 1.5. Assuming Fe410 plates, that means Fy equal to 250 megapascal, and M25 concrete. Therefore, the concrete grade is given as M25, and it is given that take safe bearing capacity of soil as 200 kilonewton per meter square. That means the SBC of soil is given as 200 kilonewton per meter square. Now you must be thinking that we are in the steel portion, then how come it is given the grade of concrete been mentioned? Clear? So now keep in mind, we are discussing about the slab base, or you can say the foundation of column. Whether you are keeping the column to be of steel section, the base, that is the foundation, is to be compulsory provided for of concrete. Clear? So concrete is must if it is regarding the soil interaction process. Clear? Steel won't be acting as a soil interacting material, so it is mandatory and compulsory to provide concrete in the base of the structure. So moving forward, here the data that's been given is the Fe410 steel plate is given, therefore Fy equal to 250 Newton per mm square, it is mentioned, and as M25 concrete is given, the FCK value here will be 25 Newton per mm square. And now for ISHB 350, it is mentioned in the question itself that the ISHB 350 section is being taken. Now we are not designing the column portion, the column design has been completed. Now after the completion of column, the load that is to be carried by column is to not be transmitted to the base or the foundation. Clear? So now we'll be discussing about the foundation, and the column is being pre-designed. So here the ISHB section has been pre-designed, and now we'll be using the parameters for it, so to find the slab based foundation. So here these are the value that we'll be taking. The H value that will be our total height, BF that will be our width of flange, TF that will be our thickness of flange, and TW will be our thickness of web. We'll be considering these parameters from our steel table, as you can see from page number 14 here. So now we'll be calculating the area of the base plate, as the total load is given as 1200 kilonewton. The bearing strength of concrete will be 0.6 FCK. Now how this value came, for that we'll be referring our IS code, and we'll be going to page number 46. There will be taking the clause that is 7.4. 7.4 is for column basis, and under that section we'll be considering 7.4.1. Here you can see that it is mentioned here with that the maximum bearing pressure should not exceed the bearing strength equal to 0.6 FCK. So the bearing strength for concrete will be always taking it to be 0.6 FCK. Clear? So as FCK is mentioned in the question to be 25, the bearing strength of concrete will be 15 Newton per mm square. So each time when we will be designing the column base, this will be the bearing strength of concrete that will be undertaking. Now the next thing will be to find the area of the base plate, and to find the area of base plate, now here again the same equation is being used, that is stress equal to load by area, and if we make the area subject, then the equation for area will be load upon stress. Clear? So load will be our factor load that is given in the question, and the strength will be our bearing strength of concrete. So here the area of base plate comes out to be 80,000 mm square. And now what does it mean by the area of base plate? So here you can see the column is being mentioned. It is a perspective view of our section that we will be discussing. This is not the actual section that we will be discussing. This is just a brief overlook of what we are going to design. So here as you can see, an I section is being mentioned, and here we are going to design 3 parameters. Every time whenever the question is being asked for column basis, we are definitely going to design 3 parameters. The first parameter will be this base plate. This base plate is generally used as an intermediate material between our foundation, that is for concrete, and our I section, that is for column. Clear? So the intermediary support that is being provided as a junction between our column, that is of I section, or with whatever section, here it is for I section, and the base that is of our foundation, that is concrete. Clear? So here our base plate will be generally a rectangular section, that is a rectangular steel portion only. So this, as you can see, base plate, it is a rectangular plate that is used to connect our main, that is our column, to the foundation. So here now we are dealing with this base plate, and the area of base plate that is to be required is coming out to be 80,000 mm square. Now we need to find the size of the built up column. So the size of the built up column here, this portion that was our BF was taken from the steel table to be 250. This portion was our H portion, that is our overall depth. So overall depth was our 350. So as you can see, it forms a rectangle of 350 cross 250. Clear? And now, as you can see here, the base plate is provided wider as compared to our column, that is of I section. So we will be taking projections 50 mm on all sides. For each and every sum that you will be dealing with, you will be always taking projections. That means this portion will be extending these portions up to 50 mm on all sides for our base plate. So here providing 50 mm projections on all around the column. The final width of plate, that is the width of plate will be coming out to be 450 mm and the depth of plate will be coming out to be 350 mm. We are just adding 50 in these two cases as a projection. And now the total size of the plate that comes out to be 450 cross 350, and the total gross area will be this value that is coming out. Now as we are providing a three-dimensional body, the two dimensions are being calculated, that are the width and depth, and now we will be moving on to the thickness of this base plate. So to find the thickness of base plate, we will be going to our IS code page numbers 47 and we will be referring 7.4.3.1. Here it is mentioned the minimum thickness, that is TS, of a rectangular slab basis supporting columns under axial compression shall be used by this method. That means this equation will be calculating the value of the thickness of our base plate. So here, as you can see, there are two terms being referred. One is A and other is B. A and B are the larger and smaller projections. That means the projection that we have extended. You can say either in the form of cover also, but here we will be dealing with projections. So the projections in the both axes, that is in both directions, we have undergone to be 50. So our A and B in this case will be 50 mm, and W will be our uniform pressure on plate. And uniform pressure on plate can be given solved by the equation, that is load upon area. Clear? Sigma equal to P by A. So the pressure can be calculated from this equation, that is load upon area, but area of base plate, because we are dealing with load or the strength, or you can say pressure on the base plate. So the area of base plate was 450 cross 300 and the load that is to be resisted is 120 kilonewton. So the pressure on the base plate comes out to be 7.62 Newton per mm square. And now we'll be finding the thickness of base plate. We have calculated the value of W. A and B are taken as 50, that is 50 mm, and gamma m0 will be 1.1 and Fy will be 250. So this answer comes out to be 12.11, and as we are always rounding off the value, and thickness will be rounding off to always even numbers. Clear? So as we are getting an answer to be 12.11, we won't be rounding it off to 13 mm. We will be always rounding it off to even number. So here we will be rounding it off to 14 mm, and it should always be greater than TF. This is our check, that the thickness that we have provided for our base plate should always be greater than the thickness of flange of the column. That is for ISHB 350. Clear? So the thickness of flange for ISHB 350 as we obtained from our steel table was 11.66, and this condition is valid, and therefore the thickness of base plate that we have provided is sufficient. So our first design portion is completed, that is our design of base plate. So now this was the completion of our base plate, and this base plate is to be rested on the concrete floor. Clear? So the concrete floor is to be connected to this base plate, and for that we will be always using these anchor bolts. We are not going to design these anchor bolts. So for each and every question we will be always assuming this data. Clear? For each and every question in this semester we will be always assuming this data, that is provide 4 numbers of 20 mm dia and 300 mm long anchor bolts to connect the base plate and the foundation concrete. And how will it be looking like? It will be looking like this way. Clear? This was the base plate that we have just designed, and this is the foundation of concrete that we'll be designing later on. But to connect these two things, we will be providing these anchor bolts on all 4 corners. Clear? So we will be providing 4 anchor bolts on each corner, and this will be the diagram for it. We are not going to design this anchor bolts, we are just going to be specifying that what we have used. Now we will be dealing with the connection of our column and base plate. To connect the column to the base plate, we always will be providing welded sections to it. Yeah? So now we will be designing the weld portion. So the weld connecting column to the base plate will be found out by this way. The size of weld, it is not given in the question, so we'll be always assuming the size of weld to be 6 mm across all the borders. Clear? So the next thing will be to find the length of the welding along the periphery, because we will be welding along the periphery of our IA column. This is the width of flange, this is the overall height, or you can say H value, this will be the TF value, and this will be our TW value. Clear? So we will be finding the periphery of this. So calculation of periphery can be done by this way, that is 250, this will be the 250, that is our width of flange, plus 250 minus 8 by 3, that means this 250 deducting the thickness of weld. So this will be this, and plus our height. So the one portion is completed, that means we are completed this portion, we are completed this portion, and we are completed this portion. So up to this portion is completed. Now we need to just do replica of this, so we'll be multiplying it by 2. So the overall periphery of this I section comes out to be 1683.4 mm. So we need to weld this periphery, but also you need to remember that we always need to deduct our end returns. Clear? We always need to deduct our end returns, and for that we will be finding that how many ends are that, and for that we will be discussing each and every corner of it. If we start our welding from this point, then this will be our first end return, this will be our second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So 12 end returns are being prescribed in our I section that we have dealt with. Clear? So for every I section there are always 12 end returns to be provided, and the value of end return is always taken as 2s, as we have dealt with the chapter that was welded connection. So 12 number of end returns will be equal to 144. So now we'll be deducting this length from our overall periphery that we just obtained, and so the effective periphery or the effective length of weld will be this, that is 1539.4. Do not forget to deduct the end returns, because it won't be getting the final answer if you forget. So clear? So this is the effective length of weld, and now we'll be finalizing the capacity of weld. So the capacity of weld will always be used by this equation, that is TT, throat thickness into FWD. It is not mentioned in our IS code, so you need to remember it, that the capacity of weld for 1 mm length. Clear? You need to remember this. The capacity of weld for 1 mm length will be calculated by this equation, that is TT, that is throat thickness. Throat thickness is always taken as 0.7 into S multiplied by FWD. FWD will be considering it to be a shop weld. So for shop welding, FWD will be taking as 189 Newton per mm square. We have taken LW, that is length of weld, to be 1 mm, because we are designing per mm length. So the required length of weld can be obtained from this equation, that is 1200 was our total load that is to be resisted, and the capacity of weld comes out to be 0.7938. So the required length of weld comes out to be 1512 mm. Clear? So this much length of weld is to be done, but we have done welding across the periphery. So the periphery that we covered was 1539.4, which is greater than the required value, so our welding will be sufficient. Clear? So this is how we will be designing the welding of the connection between our column and the base plate. And now we will be moving to the size of concrete block, and now we will be designing this portion that will be a concrete block. Now for concrete block, you need to remember certain things, that we are, though in the steel portion, we will be dealing with the parameters that were discussing in the concrete portion. Clear? For example, that concrete design is always to be done using the working loads. Concrete design is not to be done using our factor loads for foundation. Whether the foundation is for RCC or the foundation is for steel portion, you always need to remember that whenever we are dealing with foundation portion, we always need to design it using the working loads only. So the axial load on column was 1200, but it was given as factor. So now the process will be reversed. Now we'll be converting this load into our working load. So we'll be not multiplying it by 1.5, we'll be dividing it by 1.5. So the working load here comes out to be 800 kilonewton. So the design will be done according to this load, that is 800 kilonewton. And the next thing you need to remember is that the self weight of concrete. According to the RCC portion, we always used to find the self weight of concrete. That was according to rho BD equation, clear? But in this portion, that is for our foundation portion, whether we'll be dealing with foundation of RCC or foundation of steel portion, you need to remember this. The self weight of concrete foundation will be always taking as 10% of the working load. So 10% of working load will be added as our self weight of the concrete block. So the 10% of 800 comes out to be 80. So the total load comes out to be 880. Now this load is to be resisted by the soil. So now we will be requiring the size BC of the soil. So the area of concrete block. Area of concrete block can be equated from this equation, that is total load divided by SBC of soil. SBC will always be given in the question. Here it is mentioned as 200 kilonewton per meter square. So the area that is to be covered by our concrete block comes out to be 4.4 meters square. And now we will be finalizing the values, that is our dimensions. So the next thing will be to find the projections, that means the how much extension will be required. So for that, let us assume that the projections are equal on all sides. So the projections here are to be assumed as equal. So let us assume the projection to be x. So considering the projection to be x, as we know that area is equal to length into width. Area as we obtained earlier was 4.4 meters square, and the value of L, that was our regarding our base plate. So the base plate, this depth of base plate was our 450 mm, so 0.45 plus x, because projection will be on both sides. So the total length comes out to be 0.45 plus 2x. Similarly, across other direction, that is across our y direction, or you can say x direction, this base plate was, or you can say this base plate was 350 mm, and plus this projection we have taken as x, this projection again we have taken as x. So the total length here will be 0.35 into 2x, clear? So solving it, we are getting a quadratic equation, and you can solve this quadratic equation either manually or by using a calculator, and the answer for this comes out to be 0.849. So we'll be rounding it off to 0.85. So we'll be taking the projection to be 0.85, and then we'll be calculating value of L and B, clear? L and B from this equation that we have taken, and the answer comes out to be 2.15 cross 2.05. So now we'll be multiplying these values. So 2.15 cross 2.45 comes out to be 4.407, and the size that was to be provided was 4.4, and so this value is greater than this value. The size that we have finalized is perfect, clear? So this is how you will be finalizing the size of the member, that is the size of the foundation. And now we'll be dealing with our final portion, that will be the depth of foundation, and for that we'll be assuming this angle of dispersion, because we are dealing with soil. So there will be pressure bulb generated, and we are assuming the angle of the pressure bulb to be 45 degrees. So the depth of block will be always considering to be d equal to x. That means the whatever projections we are getting, that will be assuming the depth of our slab, clear, that concrete portion. So you need to remember this. For 45 degree projection, that is for 45 degree dispersion angle, the value of x, that was our projection, will always be equal to the depth of footing. So depth of footing comes out to be 0.85 in this case. So the final size of footing or the concrete block comes out to be 2.15 cross 2.05 cross 0.85 meter. So this is how you will be designing a column base. And this is our today's exercise problem. Solve it, because column bases are asked frequently in your examination, and it is an easy process. Yeah? So in the next session, we'll be dealing with some new topics. Thank you.